I was thinking about McCain. Over the years, I have felt that McCain was at once a statesman, and then a jerk, and then an incipient fascist, and then possibly a statesman again. I've been up and down the political spectrum where it concerns McCain. But one thing that stays with me forever and ever, and I can't get away from it no matter how hard I try, is the fact that when McCain was shot down over Hanoi, he was on his, I heard this today, he was on his 23rd bombing run over North Vietnam. And most of those bombing runs were over civilian targets. Now, I've said before that in my reading of the definition of war criminal, if anyone qualified for that definition, it would be John McCain. And others. I mean, you know, everybody who ran that goddamn war, and the one subsequent to that. But McCain qualified by definitions we insisted upon when the rules of war or the Geneva Conventions or whatever you want to call them were written. The indiscriminate bombing of civilian populations is right up there among the top 2 or 3 war crimes. We're sponsoring right now the bombing of civilians. We are assisting the Saudis in killing thousands upon thousands of Yemeni civilians. We are motherfuckers. Do you realize that? I mean, we are really fucked up people, our leadership anyway, going around the world killing everybody, killing the shit out of people, blowing up their cities, fucking with their energy supply. I mean, but we sure can load on the criticism of countries that back al-Assad when he gasses his own people. Fucked up, man. So over the years, to me, McCain, underlying everything that I knew about him was the fact that he was a willing war criminal who happened to get shot down, who happened to be imprisoned for a number of years, 5 years, who happened to have been tortured. He went through the whole gamut of what happens when you're bombing people to death in a country and you happen to be captured by the people of that country. I've often wondered why they didn't just take McCain out and shoot him. And some of the other American POWs. No, seriously. That doesn't make me anti-American. It can make me anti-American policy. It can make me anti-American war crimes. But it has not a goddamn thing to do with being anti-American, unless that's who we are now, or have been. I've said it so many times during my career in broadcasts that starting with the bullshit Spanish-American War, which was another bullshit event, the U.S. has been involved in atrocities all over the world. We're just not supposed to know about it. We're supposed to be, oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, yada, 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 yada. So McCain. Now, let me read his farewell statement. And then I'll try to tell you what I meant by that. His spokesman, Rick Davis, read this. My fellow Americans, whom I have gratefully served for 60 years, and especially my fellow Arizonans, thank you for the privilege of serving you and for the rewarding life that service in uniform and in public office has allowed me to lead. I've tried to serve our country honorably. I've made mistakes, but I hope my love for America will be weighed favorably against them. I've often observed that I'm the luckiest person on earth. I feel that way even now as I prepare for the end of my life. I've loved my life, all of it. I've had experiences, adventures, friendships enough for 10 satisfying lives. And I am so thankful. Like most people, I have regrets, but I would not trade a day of my life in good or bad times for the best day of anybody else's. I owe the satisfaction to the love of my family. One man has never had a more loving wife or children he was prouder of than I am of mine, and I owe it to America to be connected with America's causes, liberty, equal justice, respect for the dignity of all people, brings happiness more sublime than life's fleeting pleasures. Our identities and sense of worth are not circumscribed, but they are enlarged by serving good causes bigger than ourselves. Fellow Americans, that association has meant more to me than any other. I lived and died a proud American. We are citizens of the world's greatest republic, a nation of ideals, not blood and soil. We are blessed and a blessing to humanity when we uphold and advance those ideals at home and in the world. We have helped liberate more people from tyranny and poverty than ever before in history. We have acquired great wealth and power in the progress. We weaken our greatness when we confuse our patriotism with rivalries that have sown resentment and hatred and violence in all corners of the globe. We weaken it when we hide behind walls rather than tear them down, when we doubt the power of our ideals rather than trust them to be the great force for change they have always been. We are 325 million opinionated, vociferous individuals. We argue and compete and sometimes even vilify each other in our raucous public debates. But we have always had so much more in common with each other than in disagreement. If only we remember that and give each other the benefit of the presumption that we all love our country, we'll get through these challenging times. We will come through them stronger than before. We always do. 10 years ago, I had the privilege to concede defeat in the election for president. I want to end my farewell to you with heartfelt faith in Americans that I felt so powerfully that evening. I feel it powerfully still. Do not despair of our present difficulties. We believe always in the promise and greatness of America because nothing is inevitable here. Americans never quit. We never surrender. We never hide from history. We make history. Farewell, fellow Americans. God bless you, and God bless America. Well, okay. What's the point of my sitting here now deconstructing John McCain's final statement? I don't know. I guess I'm a real prick to even attempt to do it. But I just get so sick of the bullshit. There's not a word in his final statement of regret for all the lives he ended, not when the people whose lives he was ending were in their 80s, like John McCain, but people who were 6 years old or 23 or not even born yet. Not a fucking word. Nothing. Now, surely a warrior like John McCain, a great patriot like John McCain, and I'm not being sarcastic here, surely a man like that, when he reaches the beginning of his 9th decade on Earth, surely he would pause for some reflection, especially near the end of his life, about all the lives that he stole with his fucking bombs. I mean, I would think that, wouldn't you? But not a word. Not a word. Not a passing thought. Nothing. So, for reasons a million fucking miles away from Donald Trump, I can't see John McCain as a hero. I simply can't. I can't do it.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.